Hey guys, Marsing here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we're going to be taking a look at TEQ Super Saiyan 3 GOTENKS with his Super EZA versus Red Zone Kid BUU. Now, obviously this is a interesting one for GOTENKS because he is a tech unit, so obviously in Kid BUU, probably the hardest boss on Global right now, and we are going to have type disadvantage against him, but if we have 11 key, we do have relatively good defense post super and 50% damage reduction, as well as the fact that GOTENKS does have a 50% chance to dodge. So hopefully he's going to be okay. He does have built-in crit chance as well with the 11 key, so hopefully we can do some decent damage. All in all, GOTENKS has the potential to be decent against Kid BUU. It's just all going to depend, right? Because once he gets fully built up, I can imagine even normal attacks, if we're not dodging them, are going to be doing damage. Even if we're not getting one shot, we're certainly not going to be taking like double-digit damage, because his defense post super, I've seen from the original showcase, he's only really at around 700 to 800k depending on the rotation, and then with 70% damage reduction, like he could be easily getting hit for like 2 million from Kid BUU, right? So it's it could be a little bit scary, but we'll see. Now Gohan's probably the most likely to tank the super here, isn't he? So we should do this. There's going to be, I'm not going to be able to get 2 orbs for GOTENKS, though, am I, on this first turn? No, because the rainbow orbs there are going to mess that up. So let me do this and just see how these drop. I was going to say the int orbs might have come down with just the 2 of those separated, but they haven't, unfortunately. Which means we'll only be able to get the 12 key super for GOTENKS here. I mean, it doesn't really matter too much, because obviously in terms of damage in this first phase against STR Kid BUU, we're not really going for all-out damage here, because we're not going to kill him before we get to the STR phase, the int phase anyway. But at least we get some build-up here for Gohan. TEQ Gohan, crazy as it is, as good as his EZA is, the Kid BUU fight can still be a little bit of a struggle for him, just because of how he starts off. Because even on his first turn with the damage reduction, you can see him there taking damage from Kid BUU in slot 1. Because obviously with the Super Saiyan 3 GOTENKS, we have no All in the Family or Cold Judgment active. If this was the turn 1 where he's with like AGL, LR, Ulma Gohan, then obviously he'd be fine. And post to the supers, he's taking double-digit damage. But yeah, GOTENKS, if you're getting the 12 key super as his first super, only 8.6 mil, a little bit disappointing. But of course, he does have to super attack 3 times to build up that extra 150% from his passive. So the 12 key super can still do okay damage when he's fully built up. But yeah, we're not going to be seeing anything crazy out of him with 12 key for the most part. So, but yeah, Goku, of course, in slot 3 gets all the extra attack as well as the extra super. So he's going to do a bunch of extra damage here. Not that it matters, because like I said, we're not going to kill him, but we have 100% damage reduction, and he just can counter this anyway, so it's pretty good. I mean, to be fair, we did actually take off over half of his health. Like, Goku's team is probably the best team for just nuking Kid BUU, but we'll see how we get on here, because we're back to this turn, which is certainly can be a little bit scary. I mean, we could just use the Dragon Fist straight away. I mean, Goku can tank it, but I guess we could just use it. Yeah, see, it's the first attack of slot 1, so that does work out quite nicely for us. I'm trying to leave some key, like, available here as well. I have the Senzu beans from when I was doing the showcase, so I might as well just use it, get a full heal here, because we're not using an item that's going to affect TEQ GOTENKS' performance, so I'm okay to do that here just to get the heal, because in Super Saiyan GOTENKS, if he gets like a couple of supers here, he might be okay for tanking the normals, but the fact is that he's going to get hit a few times, Kid BUU, to get a few buffs, because he just got hit with the Dragon Fist, and then this Goku in slot 2 is going to attack a couple of times. He's obviously not going to do any damage, but even though the attack gets negated, he still gets the attack buff. Goku, of course, by getting all of these attacks, is unable to take damage because of his damage reduction. But every time he attacks, he's just buffing Kid BUU for hitting GOTENKS, and then GOTENKS, of course, going to hopefully get some additional supers, which will raise his defense for the turn, but at the same time also raise Kid BUU's attack. So we'll see how we get on here. I only really bought GOTENKS because I was hoping we could get to the turn where we transform him into a Super Saiyan 3 and have him in slot 3 next to TEQ GOTENKS, but we'll see how that pans out here. We did get a triple super turn, so even though that means 3 more buffs for Kid Buu, hopefully that means a decent level of defense for Gotenks. 500k. Damn, well, he came in clutch with the rest of the dodges for the turn, but goddamn. Okay, well. Right, so next to this Gotenks, he gets way too much ki, so that's not good. I mean, I could do this, I guess, but, like, we are going to be relying on him to... We'd be relying on him to dodge a super, because if he gets supered in slot 1 here, he is just going to die. Unless we do this and just hope that he gets the dodges because he has the 12 ki. Interesting. Didn't realize he gets so much ki from you, because obviously we have Fused Fighter and Over in a Flash. That was the only problem with him back in the day, is linking him up with characters like Gogeta. Having Fused Fighter and Over in a Flash gives him way too much ki. Is he going to super me in slot 1? Chances are he probably is. So I guess we'll go for the 12 ki here again, because that gives him the extra dodge chance. With the heal, and then do this and this. Alright, so let's see how we go. So he's going to heal in slot 1. Then we're going to get our 12 ki super. Not a lot of links active here, like no Super Saiyan or anything with the Gohan. So obviously not crazy in terms of the attack stat. We do get an additional normal, but... And then we dodge. Okay, so only a normal in slot 1 from Kid Buu this time. Gohan does lower attack as well, actually, which is helpful. But especially if he gets multiple supers off here. Because then there's a lot of extra defense from him. And the attack lowering as well. Even though, of course, it's only showing the attack up symbol. But Gohan does lower attack on super. Okay, so how much does this do? This probably does still do damage, right? But we've lowered his attack. We've got a fair few supers off since the beginning. Oh, never mind. 855k. Okay. Well. Okay, so jump back in. TEQ Gotenks was in slot 7, which means this is his first appearance on turn 3 here. Now, we do get a buff by being at 11 or less ki, but we don't get the damage reduction. So this is a pretty sketchy situation for Gotenks, in fact, because the problem with him really is 11 or less ki gets you extra attack and defense, but the damage reduction is only from having 11 ki, and then the extra dodge is from 12 ki. So whilst the 9 or 10 ki super hits harder than the 12, we don't get any of the extra like defensive buffs, which I think is probably really bad. So we're going to go ahead and get the 12 ki here. I think what we'll do... Now, I want to see how much damage he would take. Because, I mean, the problem is we already know from, like, the previous clip, basically, that Int Gotenks is very likely to just die. Also, TEQ Gohan, I guess, could die to a super here as well. The problem with Gotenks, I guess, in a lot of these cases, is the teams that you're running him on, they're not bad by any stretch. Like, this team has AGL Angel Goku, who, whilst he can't deal damage to Kid Buu, is very strong defensively against him. But some of these other units, like, you know, like Gohan having to eat a super, for example, not really an ideal scenario. And Gotenks is a unit that, unless you just want to bank on a coin flip, like 50% chance to dodge, he's not really a character that you're going to want to run in slot 1. And so sometimes you can just be fully at the mercy of the orb field. And of course we died. If I'd healed, we would have been fine. But typically for this run, I bought a Princess Snake because I figured we could get one of those turns when if we have a unit like Int Gotenks who is going to get us killed, we can just go ahead and use a Princess Snake. But rather than cutting here this time, I think we'll just jump straight back in. Hopefully we won't get Gotenks in slot 7 again. Because ideally what you want is him to get a double super on his first turn. Because of course that then gives him 2 out of the 3 buffs from his passive. I mean, to be honest, TEQ Gohan, as good as TEQ Gohan can be, especially when run with the AGL Gohan, I feel like he's just really not that good in this event specifically. Because of the lack of like Cold Judgment or All in the Family. He takes way too much damage, and him being in slot 7, so we come up against Int Kid Buu with him and it's his first turn, so he has no prior build up or anything. Definitely a little bit awkward. But But yeah, it's strange that physical base Gotenks, I think he's the only base Gotenks in the game that has over in a flash, which they obviously did that for the benefit of Goku because he's his banner unit. And obviously Fused Fire is Gotenks' other main key link, which Goku doesn't have. But it makes it very strange for his linking with the other Gotenks units, because ideally you'd put him next to this Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks and they'd only share Fused Fighter. But there you go, we did get the additional 12 key super, so we get to do a bit of extra damage. Then we've got the higher dodge chance because of the 12 key, so we dodge all of the attacks, so that's really good. And we got 2 out of the 3 supers, so when he gets the 3rd super on the first turn against the Kid Buu, that will be that part of his passive then fully built up. So good first turn for him. I think that's the first time we've actually got an additional super with him. Even in the original like Max Link showcase after we did the Super EZA, I think at one point we got an additional normal, but that was basically it. So yeah, physical Gotenks very, very good for this event. Able to tank the STR Kid Buu normals after supering, and then this is annoying. How do I want to do this? Because if you... Relying on Gotenks to dodge the super at the end feels like a real bad gamble. And like obviously you are perfect for slot 3, but these guys not so much in like slot 1. 200k. I mean you have the same dodge chance if you're in slot 1, I guess. I don't want to use one of the items this early, because I could just use the Princess Snake here to protect Gotenks in slot 1 a little bit, but I guess we should save it for the Kid Buu phases, but hopefully it doesn't come back to bite me. Once he gets the first dodge, he does have the little bit of extra dodge chance as well. 499, okay, so whew. I think post super though he's okay. I'm actually not sure, but nope, 175, goddamn. This Int Gotenks. I mean, there you go. This is the struggle. Because the thing is, when it comes to these units and taking them into these difficult events, like, it's kind of the problems we talk about with Frieza, with LR Omega Shenron, the LR Ginyu Force. Sometimes it doesn't really matter about the unit themselves and, like, the unit's performance. It's like, what teams are they on? What teams can you run them on? Because in terms of, like, 200% teams, this Gotenks is on a couple, but you've got teams like the Fusion Zamasu team, which he doesn't really fit very well on. He does defensively buff extreme allies, I guess. He's on the 8-year like BUU duo, but they're very much like in a weird place in the meta. Yeah, it's like the team is kind of strange. Do we have any better slot 1 units on this Goku team? Majin Buu Saga, Otherworld Warriors, or Accelerated Battle? I mean, we could bring... I guess we could try and get the Fusion and bring the STR Goku and Vegeta. But they're not a slot 1 unit really either. But if we drop you off, put them on. I mean, I guess technically we could run Int Buu on this team. The Int Buu and... actually, even though not for this team, because we've just taken Gohan off. But the Int Buu and... TEQ Gohan rotation I do actually really like, but maybe we'll just put Int Kid Buu on here, Int Fat Buu, because even if he does die in slot 1, he gets to revive, so... Alright, so we'll see how this goes. We've got Gotenks on turn 2 with the Int Gotenks, so... Again, not the best setup for, like, slot 1 units here, unfortunately. Yeah, I think we'll float you, because then you come back on turn 4 and then potentially confuse straight away. If we need to heal, then that would work for sure. So let's do that. These guys obviously will all be fine on turn 1. It's turn 2 that I'm a bit worried about, because as we've said many times before, with Kid Buu, it's not just having good rotations in terms of like, do I have a slot 1 unit to put in slot 1? It's, do I then have a unit to put in slot 3 on turn 2, because that's where he's going to super attack. And unfortunately for this next rotation, not really, because we could put in Fat Buu there, but then it's like, well then who do we put in slot 1? Because he's the only slot 1 unit for the next rotation. Because we've got the double Gotenks, and as we saw from just now, the last run before this, Int Gotenks in slot 1, 500k from a normal attack before he supers. That's why I don't like relying on units that have to dodge in slot 1, because then when you get enemy attack placements where there's like 5 attacks in slot 1, it only takes for one of them to hit you, and then, yeah, we saw that Gotenks take 500k damage, which is a bit much for slot 1 for the start of the turn. 500k damage straight off the rip, and then obviously he's going to super attack in slot 3. Now, on that previous clip rotation, I say clip, we didn't cut, but on the previous run, we had the Super Sentai Goku in slot 3, who's going to live regardless anyway. But, like, this is such a bad setup. I mean, the only thing I can really do, I guess, is to just do this. But... and then I suppose we could do this. Can we get... we can't get 11 key, we can get the 10. But... because that at least gives him the attack and defense buff for having 11 or less key. But it's not really ideal. But I suppose we'll see how we get on here. Yeah, see, 353, and that's with the Princess Snake. So if he gets hit, he's just dead. So he's not a slot 1 unit, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, Kid Buu fight was never really going to be a good option for Gotenks because he's a tech unit, so I don't really know necessarily what we were expecting, but I definitely would not. We've got 1 attempt left. I think I'm going to use that for something else. So, TEQ Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, probably not really surprising that he's not very good against Kid Buu. The toughest int boss on Global, and then a tech unit that, you know, at best has 50% chance to dodge and then an extra 33% chance to dodge if you get the 12 key super, which then means he's not doing very much damage because it's his lowest damage dealing super and he's got type disadvantage. So it's kind of like, what is he bringing to the team then if you're just getting his 12 key super so that he can hopefully get the higher dodge chance and not get killed? Realistically, then you're just not bringing him into this event, unfortunately. But let me know what you guys think. If you've had a good run with Gotenks against Kid Buu, do let me know down below in the comment section. Let me know how you got on. But I would say that, unfortunately, just not a great unit for this fight. But, I mean, it's type disadvantage, right? So we can't really hold it against him too much. But let me know your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store. And I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.